This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. The chairman of the FNM questioned the objectivity of an election report and its conclusions about why the FNM lost the 2021 general election. Clayton Fernander to become the new police commissioner, and the government intends to demolish shanty towns not subject to the injunction. We have the details. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, June 21st, 2022, the first day of summer. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Join me in a moment. Our special guest co-host today from the Eye Opener here on Guardian Radio, Tate Adderley, will be joining us. Also this morning, we'll be talking about some frequently asked questions for parents and students who will be moving to Canada for school. What you need to know, we've got a special guest who's very familiar to many people. We'll be talking this morning. You definitely want to stay tuned to that. And later, our monthly series with the Consumer Protection Commission resumes today in Morning Blend Business. What they're doing about some frequent complaints about commercial banks in the country. It's all straight ahead this morning. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, the FNM does not accept as entirely objective a post-election report completed by a U.S. consultancy firm into the FNM's dismal loss at the polls last year. That's according to Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands. The report blamed the defeat on low voter turnout and the party's failure to organize at the constituency and grassroots level. And it said that former Prime Minister Dr. Menis was not entirely responsible for the loss. Sands, though, saying, quote, the leaked document that is circulating presents one of many views of the circumstances and reasons leading to the FNM's loss. We, the FNM leadership, take note of it, but do not accept it as a comprehensive or entirely objective assessment of the facts, or indeed as a defining map for the way forward. We acknowledge the challenges of the organization, leading to our loss and take very seriously the shared commitment to restore the public's trust in the FNM and to ensure readiness of the organization for the next general election. Former Prime Minister Minnis called that election 8 months before when it was constitutionally due. The party, which won 35 of the 39 seats in the House of Assembly in 2017, won just 7 seats in the most recent election. The Cabinet Office announcing that Clayton Fernander will serve as the next Commissioner of Police. Fernander, who is currently one of 2 deputy commissioners, will take over from Commissioner Paul Roll, who will retire from the police force on July 5th. Assistant Commissioner of Police Lamont Delaveau will replace Fernander as Deputy Commissioner, and Loretta Mackey also serves as Deputy Commissioner. Fernander and Delaveau were among 7 senior police officers controversially sent on leave during the Minnis administration in 2019. Marvin Dames, who was the Minister of National Security at the time, insisted that there was nothing sinister about the move to place the senior officers on leave. However, in March 2019, PLP leader Philip Davis accused then Prime Minister Minnis of purging the Royal Bahamas Police Force of PLPs. 3 police officers will now be tried for murder in connection with the shooting death of suspect Danrico Carey. Officers Archibald Miller Jr., Thomas Thurston Jr., and Lee Dormius were yesterday committed to stand trial for murder concerning Carey's death on November 13, 2021. They were initially charged with manslaughter when they appeared before Chief Magistrate Darren Roll Davis on February 16th. Meanwhile, Officer Kevin Greenslade was also committed to stand trial on a new charge. He's no longer charged with manslaughter and is now accused of causing dangerous harm to Carey. The officers learned of the amended charges when they appeared before Magistrate Kendrick Kelly yesterday to receive their voluntary bill of indictment. The officers, who are on half pay and suspended from duty, will be arraigned before Senior Justice Bernard Turner on July 1st. They remain free on $9,500 bail. The charges stem from a police-involved shooting on Matthews Street in Nassau Village. Police were reportedly in pursuit of an armed suspect at the time of the shooting. The government intends to demolish shanty towns not covered by a Supreme Court injunction. That's according to Minister of National Security Wayne Munro. Munro making the comment days after announcing that the government has given people who are unlawfully operating and living on attractive cleared land in the Carmichael Road area 14 days to get off before authorities move in and take action to address illegal deforestation and squatting. He was asked yesterday to respond to criticism about the government's handling of the squatters on deforested Crown land versus people living in shanty towns. Monroe saying that Crown land belongs to the government, but private land belongs to private owners. He said, quote, "If you permit people to squat on your property after 12 years, they will own it. That's what the laws of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas says. Shanty towns, as I'm made to understand, are on demolished land by private homeowners." Monroe reiterated that the government does not allow people to squat on public land. And BPL, Bahamas Power and Light CEO Siobhan Cambridge saying that power outages that plagued New Providence in recent days were largely due to bad weather. He says, quote, "There's nothing I can really say to say that it won't happen." There were several outages across New Providence on Sunday and Monday. In a statement, BPL said power went off in several areas in central New Providence at around 1:23 p.m. on Sunday as a result of a system disturbance at its Clifton Pier power station. It said the problem was resolved in under an hour and the areas were fully resolved. But by 5:30 p.m., severe lightning impacted generation, transmission, and distribution systems. And this statement says that as a result, a number of areas throughout the island, including southwest and eastern New Providence, were impacted. BPL said 31 areas were affected by bad weather on Sunday, and the problems continued for some on Monday. Overseas, villagers in northeastern Bangladesh crowded makeshift refugee centers and scrambled to meet boats arriving with food and fresh water as massive floods, which have killed dozens of people and displaced hundreds of thousands, and also in neighboring India, continued to wreak havoc today. In one area, one of the worst hit in the extreme northeastern part of the country near the border with India, villagers waded, swam, and paddled makeshift rafts or small skiffs to a boat delivering aid that had moored to to one shelter, its ground floor covered halfway to the ceiling with water. The low-lying village along the Surma River is prone to flooding, but with the extreme rainfall at the start of the year's monsoon season, villagers are saying they've never seen anything like this, never this bad. Monsoon rains in South Asia typically begin in June, but this year, heavy downpours lashed northeastern India and Bangladesh as early as March, triggering floods as early as April in Bangladesh. With rising global temperatures due to climate change, experts say the monsoon is becoming more variable, meaning that much of the rain that would typically fall in a season is arriving in a shorter period. So far, reports of fatalities in Bangladesh range between 12 and 32, but the UN Children's Agency said about 4 million people have been cut off by the floods in the country's northeast and are in urgent need of help. UNICEF saying in a report Monday that they include 1.6 million children and that without fresh drinking water, they could be in serious danger of waterborne diseases. In sports, starting this evening, community basketball returns in a big way with the staging of the Urban Renewal Sporting League Community Basketball Tournament. In conjunction with the Providence Basketball Club, the tournament will run through July 14th inside the C.I. Gibson Gym. A total of 22 teams from various communities in New Providence will be represented, playing out of the 4 districts, north, south, east, and west. You can read all about it in today's Guardian Sports section. The Bahamas showed a lot more fight Monday, but suffered a similar fate, falling to Dominican Republic, just as the FIBA America's Under-15 Central Basket Championships continued in Puerto Rico. After trailing by as many as 21 points in the game, the Bahamas battled back to get to within single digits in the fourth quarter, but couldn't keep the momentum going. Dominican Republic winning 70-59. The Bahamas struggling in this competition, the Bahamas battled back, going on a 13-4 scoring run to pull within 48-36 with 4:12 remaining in the third quarter. They eventually got to within 10 at the end of 3, but could not get any closer. The 9 points in the fourth period. You can read more about all of this in today's Guardian Sports section. And the longest-running international NCAA Division I bowl game is back for an 8th edition under a new title sponsor, Hometown Lenders. Stakeholders of the event in town recently holding a press conference to officially launch the Bahamas Bowl. The game, which is set for Friday, December 16th at the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium, will feature teams from the Mid-American Conference and the Conference USA battling for the Prime Minister's Cup right here in the Bahamas. Details in today's Guardian Sports section as well. From the NHL, the Tampa Bay Lightning's bid for a three-peat alive and well. The Lightning, the defending Stanley Cup champions, two-time defending champions, beat the Colorado Avalanche 6-2 Monday night in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. The victory, 2 nights after suffering the most lopsided loss in the team's playoff history, trimmed Tampa Bay's series deficit to 2-1 and breathed hope in the team's quest to become the first franchise in nearly 40 years to win 3 consecutive NHL titles. Game 4 is set for Wednesday night. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. And your weather for today, be sure to pick up today's NASA Guardian. The 2022 Hurricane Supplement is in today's paper. You definitely don't want to miss that. Some great information in there. The NASA Guardian's 2022 Hurricane Supplement in today's NASA Guardian. With your weather for today, we've got a frontal trough dissipating across the northwest Bahamas, while tropical moisture will continue to stream across the central and southeastern islands. Residents and mariners should be alert for funnel cloud and waterspout activity. And everybody once again being advised to limit outdoor activity during early afternoon hours. For all areas today, forecast calls for variably cloudy, hot, and humid conditions with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms becoming partly cloudy, with isolated showers or a thunderstorm tonight. Gusty winds and higher seas expected during showers and thunderstorms. Winds northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet. Temperatures today getting up to around 91 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius, with the heat index again in the triple digits. We're looking at 101 Fahrenheit, 38 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. It's time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day, Guardian Radio 96.9.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for your smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. Remember, standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me this morning, my special guest co-host today from the Eye Opener on Saturdays here on Guardian Radio. We've got Tate Adderley. Good morning, Tate.
Good morning, Dwight. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Great to have you with us. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
You've been a guest a couple times, but great to have you as a co-host today.
Yes.
All right. We have a lot to get to this morning, a lot to talk about. And again, we gave you how you can reach us on social media and on the text line. You can also call in. We'll give you the phone numbers to call in just a bit. Also this morning, we got more weather and traffic. And in our 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking about what you need to know if you are a parent or a student and you're going to Canada for school in the fall. It's already June. It's the first day of summer. You don't have much time. Fall, people are leaving in August. So you need to know this stuff. You're going to get the information from a very special guest as well. Can you guess who it is? We'll tell you soon, but that's coming up in our 8 o'clock hour. Then in our 9 o'clock hour, Morning One Business, we are talking to the Consumer Protection Commission. We have a monthly segment with them, and they are going to be talking about what they are doing to address a number of complaints from consumers about commercial banks, some specific complaints as well, and what you need to do if you have similar issues. You definitely don't want to miss that. A lot to get to on this Tuesday morning, but let's begin with what else is in the news. And in the news, some people are already trying to guess on our text line. Okay. By the way, I said it earlier in the weather report. Be sure to pick up today's Nassau Guardian. The hurricane supplement is in there today, the 2022 hurricane supplement. Lots of great information in there today. All right. So there's a couple things we really want to talk about, but there's some things we won't have the time to get into. But we're watching BPL. Seem to be up to their old ways again. They're saying that it's the outages we've been seeing over the past few days are due to bad weather. Okay, all right. There's been a lot of bad weather, certainly, yes. But we all know that on a hot, sunny day, not a cloud in the sky, the power can go out, and does as well. So whether it's good or bad weather, BPL will be challenged. But this time it's bad weather. So, and here we are at the start of the long, hot summer officially, although it's been summer for at least 2 months already. And the rainy season, and we know we have lots of bad weather ahead of us. So that's what you can expect, I guess. There's even more frightening warnings in the Tribune today. The union boss saying we've got a tough summer ahead. He was on the show just a few weeks ago for Labor Day. He's saying that it wasn't going to be as bad, but okay. So things are bad again.
I thought they were improving.
That's what he said. That's what he said. But now, I guess the weather. No, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But
I the consensus is always to think that when the summer comes, expect BPL to just be horrible.
yes.
So personally, I don't get the reasoning as to why they want to play this game and act like bad weather is a problem. But then again, we have had rainy showers, but particularly in my area, when we have those rainy showers, I haven't seen many outages.
Oh,
so
don't jinx
it's
yourself.
kind of weird.
Don't jinx yourself.
Well, true. You know, power could go for the next 5 minutes if it wanted to.
Oh boy, but yeah. So this is scary. And then there's the headline in the Tribune today. Oh boy, BPL examining price increase. Well, we've been hearing about that a little bit from the previous CEO who warned about that. But yeah, the current CEO apparently is saying that the power will be kept on. That'll be a change, but bills may have to rise. So brace yourself for a very long hot summer.
Didn't this administration put a stop to that?
That's what they said, but I guess there's no timeline on this. But just know that in the future, I don't know how long they can, keep that at bay.
I guess so.
But at some point, they're going to have to do something. And they're examining. That's all it says. Examining price increase. So this is a second warning. So, right? How many more warnings do we need before you get hit in the face?
True. That is right. That is true.
All right, so that's BPL. We're watching them. The Royal Bahamas Police Force making news. Clayton Fernandez is going to be the new commissioner when Paul Roll retires on July 5th, just a few weeks from now. Cabinet Office making that announcement yesterday. Fernandez is currently one of two deputy commissioners. And Assistant Commissioner of Police, Limond Delaveau, will replace Fernandez as Deputy Commissioner, and Loretta Mackey will also continue to serve, I guess, as Deputy Commissioner, or is she? Yeah, okay. Fernandez Delaveau were among 7 senior police officers who were sent on leave during the Minister administration. At the time, National Security Minister Marvin Dame said there was nothing sinister about what was going on, but Philip Davis, when he was in the opposition, said that it was clear that the Minister administration was trying to purge the police force of PLPs. Why everyone knows what everybody is amazing to me, but okay, but that's how we do it, I guess. Everybody knows what, you already know what denomination are you? Whoa. Okay.
That's weird.
Fernando Delvo and ACP Ken Strawn returned to active duty in September 2021, more than a year after they were reassigned to various government agencies. Fernando was sworn in as Deputy Commissioner in December 2021. He joined the police force in 1982, serving as the officer in charge of the Selective Enforcement Team. That's a very interesting name, team. Selective Enforcement Team, which is responsible for crime suppression involving prolific offenders and gang activities. They call those teams many different names in other countries, names that we wouldn't like. But okay, that's beautiful. And congratulations to Clayton Fernandez. I think people saw that coming, but thank you. Congratulations. Looking forward to that.
Do you have any thoughts about how he'd be as commissioner? Because I would have seen his stint, I think, when Paul Rowe was out of the country for a while. And it seems as though he's more, I don't want to say active, but more so he is one more so to talk with the press. That's the impression that I got when he was the acting commissioner for like a few weeks or so. Mm-hmm. And I think that was during when the crime wave was happening, when we had those sets of killings in a close proximity at time. But what do you think?
I see what you mean. Yeah. It seems, I don't want to say personable. I don't know Paul Roll. I have not had the opportunity to meet him. So I don't know if I can say that, but I do see where you're coming from with that. Does seem to be more willing to talk in a neutral way as opposed to I'm on the job and right. Yeah.
Right.
Perhaps. And hopefully that's a good thing, right? We need to. That would be good to humanize the force a little more.
Right.
But so we're looking, hopefully that spells a good direction for the police force. Let's take some calls. I see some calls coming in, and we'll get to your messages in just a bit. 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Selective Enforcement Team. Interesting. The description is so amazing.
They come up with these names and then they don't even explain them. It's like, where do you come up with these terms?
This explanation says a lot. Responsible for crime suppression involving prolific offenders and gang activities.
That sounds like a secret police to me, honestly.
What? Tate, no. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Ben. How are you?
Hi, doing well.
Wonderful, great conversation as usual. And kudos goes out and congratulations to our new police commissioner. Those titles that and purpose and reasons that he served. Well, like you say, they come up with these names, But he is that type of guy. He is that type of fella, And we're going to look to see for more brutal response to the crime that exists.
What did you say? A more what?
More brutal response.
More brutal response?
Yes. Okay. Should I choose a little kinder word?
Well,
because you see, the crime is very strong. Is rough for us.
Well, you see, the problem is sometimes we get it wrong. Like we thought it was this guy, but it's actually that one. And you've been brutal to the wrong person. And maybe you shouldn't even be brutal to the right person. But
that's true.
Yeah, but
brutal. But it's like a child being rude. You already talked to the child already. You spank him once, and then you spank him the second time. What do you do the third time? I know.
That explains everything.
Yeah. The language is strong. Train up the child the way he should go. When he get older, he wouldn't depart from it. But let's move on to the biggest story that's in the newspaper. The chairman of the Free National Movement.
You want to call us back on that one? We're going to get to that in just a second. I just want to. Yeah.
What happened is that I don't think I'm going to get through because that's a popular topic, and the chairman needs to be accountable and transparent. Okay, that name those words doesn't go with the name minutes. Okay, they got a report, and it favors him. He paid for the favor. It is so wrong. Thank God he's gone where he's gone, but we need him out of calamity. Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. Well, I think you and the chairman would be on the same page. I don't know. But okay, we'll get to that in a second. Just going to we'll come right now. Everybody wants to talk about that.
That's strange to me. Anyway.
Yeah? All right, we'll get
So I understand where Bahamians' appetites come from for a more stronger response to crime.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we've been doing that for a very long time now and has been working. So I don't know if I can stand with what that caller said. But I get where that appetite comes from, but I just can't agree with it these days because I don't think it works anymore.
Yeah. Brutal is the wrong word, but stronger response, maybe. It doesn't have to be brutality. Aggressive doesn't have to be brutality. Yeah. Okay, let's take another call. Good morning, caller, you're on the air. All right, let's take this one over here. Good morning, caller, you're on the air.
Good morning, this is Strachan. You and your guest, Dwight.
Hi.
We need justice, law, and order in this country. Let me show you something. Those people that live in the ivory towers, we don't need talk from them. We need justice, law, and action pertaining to the immaturity, the crimes that are happening in this country, which not being dissolved. Thank you.
Did you say dissolved?
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, that's what I heard.
Well, it'd be good if we could dissolve crime, too. Okay. And one final call on this. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Are you there? Good morning. Oh, okay. Yeah, good morning. You're on the air. Hi, good morning. You're just there. No. Are you gone already? Okay. All right. This text says here... I think it's the same person. They keep sending this every day. They really want, and we all do want to know what happened here. But they keep asking what's happening with the investigation with Joe Beth Colby Davis and the police officer and the vehicle. They said this yesterday, and but I agree. What is happening? Where do things stand with that? That doesn't need to be drawn out for a long time, right? This person says here, this is back to BPL, there's been bad weather. Over the past few weeks, I've seen a lot of gray clouds with zero to rain, then clearing up after a few hours. Okay, where do you live, Texter? Because I don't know if you're in New Providence. Really? You're lucky. I nearly drowned yesterday, twice. Seriously, I was terrified. It's a miracle I made it to work today. That car deserves What can you do to
Do you
cars?
drive a low car?
Lower than I'd like it to be, apparently.
Jesus.
I like can you like when you give the horse a carrot when they've done well? Like, what can you do for
Yeah.
a car? Wash it? It doesn't make sense to wash it, but I mean, it didn't cause me to drown, and I'm
Okay.
very appreciative of it. But that was terrible yesterday. But okay, but I do know what you're talking about. I think there was a few days ago where everybody west of most of the island were telling me how this storm is horrible, and I'm like, it's sunny and bright where I am, and I'm praying for rain so I don't have to water grass and stuff. But yeah, but okay, all right. But it's been storming and pouring frequently over most of New Providence for the past few days.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one says here, at this point, I wish BPL would say, yeah, we going off, and so what? I would have more respect for them.
I kind of understand what that call is saying.
No, I can't.
It's like, no, I mean, like, I get what they're saying, because sometimes people feel like when it comes to government agencies that they're very, I don't want to say patronizing. I don't know if that's the right word, but they come off as patronizing when we just want them to be honest with us. But I understand where that comes from, to be honest. People are tired of being like sugar-coated when it comes to the problems, or when it comes to trying to find solutions to the problems, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. Well, you could just say to yourself they've said that. And right? In your mind, just say, no matter what BPL says in the statement, that means the power's going off. And yeah. And then you can be more comfortable with the situation, I guess.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
This person says here, wonderful choice for Chief of Police, Dwight. I worked with him for years in a number of divisions. He's a people's person. Okay, that's great. That's great. They also said, bad weather where? On Father's Day, my power was off for hours. Ridiculous. Yeah, that's really very sad. This one says here, oh boy. Okay, I don't know if I want to read that one on here. That's a little, whoa. This one says here, congratulations to the new commissioner, Clayton Fernandez. Finally, the police force has a leader that can heal the organization and set it on right footing. May the Lord continue to bless him and his leadership team. Right. And someone says, oh, yeah, what you do is service the car. Yeah, I do. That's where all my money goes, servicing the car. So, yeah, that's all you do is just show some love. Okay, thank you. All right, let's take this call, and then I want to move on to another topic. Good morning, caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, morning, Dwight. How are you?
Doing well. Good morning.
Yeah, I guess that's a matter of BPL explaining during storms and other bad weather that you'll have to shut down the current, and you call it controlled shutdown.
Oh, that's not what's been happening, though.
Yeah, I agree. They need to explain what's going on. Now, you have some machinery that deals with electrical. You have static control, static wicks and stuff that even if there's lighting, it won't trigger the machine. So they need someone who can explain on your talk show how that operates when it comes to electrical storms. Because even as you know now, they have new engines. But what's going to happen is that over a period of time, the old lines, they're going to fail. That's why it's going to be a long process with BEC. You're going to have lines throughout the country that are going to fail because they're old lines carrying out a higher voltage. So they need to explain to the public, even as the last government, when you have new engines, new power going through old lines, eventually they're going to deteriorate, and that's when you replace them. And this is continuous. People make it a political thing. Trust me, BEC just needs to have someone come on your show and explain exactly what is what and what's going to happen. You're going to always have power outages. Some intentional, as far as you have accidental and otherwise. But someone needs to come on the show and explain exactly what's happening. And when you have electrical storms, your machines are they able to withstand the electrical flashes and all that stuff? You see?
Okay.
So a lot of technical things. Thank you.
Well, they know how to reach us. We have them on often, and we're looking forward to talking with the new CEO soon. This part of the statement, though, I guess it goes to what you're saying, caller. The statement says that the public is reminded that BPL does not turn off areas in advance of most weather events, but protective devices such as fuses and circuit breakers operate to disconnect affected areas to ensure the safety of the general public and to reduce the risk of equipment damage. So it says, once indication of safety was given after the weather conditions subsided, crews were dispatched to commence repairs and restore supply. But due to the significant number of areas impacted by this event, it took our crews a number of hours to restore impacted areas and begin addressing individual customer concerns. Oh, okay. All right. So everybody wants to talk about it. We didn't have much time to get into it yesterday. Let's talk about it today. This report on why the F&M lost. We joked about it yesterday that they didn't need to spend this money, or if they did, they could have just asked us
How much
for,
do you think they spent?
Probably far too much.
Probably.
But they just could have asked us for a year's worth or 2 or 3 years worth of shows, and right from Guardian Radio or any talk show, and they would have heard why.
Right.
We would have given that to them for free. Okay. So, and there was yesterday in the report that said that some within the F&M think this was a sanitized version, and that this might have been skewed in a certain way. And now the chairman of the F&M is coming out and saying that, Dr. Dwayne Sands. Arcandia Dame's writing about it today. The F&M does not accept as entirely objective a post-election report completed by a U.S. consultancy firm into the F&M's dismal loss at the polls last year. That's according to Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands. The report blamed the defeat on low voter turnout and the party's failure to organize at the constituency and grassroots level. And it said that former Prime Minister Dr. Jimenez was not entirely responsible for the loss. Now, Sands says the leaked document that is circulating presents one of many views of the circumstances and reasons leading to the F&M's loss. We, the F&M leadership team, take note of it, but do not accept it as a comprehensive or entirely objective assessment of the facts, or indeed as a defining map for the way forward. We acknowledge the challenges of the organization leading to our loss and take very seriously the shared commitment to restore the public's trust to ensure readiness of the organization for the next general election. Daily, we are working to once again earn the privilege of the public's support. We have accomplished much as a party, but accept that there are things that could have been managed differently. There are persons who have been hurt by public policies or acts of omission or commission. We acknowledge that pain and have publicly apologized. We have also addressed these concerns candidly at our conclave and will continue to do so as we rebuild. It would be instructive to question the individual or individuals who leaked the document that, to my knowledge, had very limited circulation. Minutes called the general election 8 months before one was constitutionally due. The party, which had 35 of the 39 seats in the House in 2017, won just 7 in the most recent election. Minutes in the F&M had promised a term limit for Prime Minister and a fixed election date, but failed to deliver on those and other electoral reform pledges. Many F&Ms were angered that in November, he told members of the party he did so because difficult times were ahead for the country and the government needed a new mandate to make some very, very difficult decisions. He said at the time, quote, in order to manage those headwinds that we see coming, it was essential to have a new mandate because very, very difficult decisions have to be made. Now, that post-election report concluded that the party's loss would have been worse. It could have been worse had the election been called later. The report said, quote, the F&M may have suffered a defeat, but much of this will reverse in the next 4 years if the party does the work required. Long-tail campaigns don't work in the Bahamas. Going forward, the vast majority of efforts need to be put into grassroots campaigning and save the air war and rapid response for the last 10 weeks. The party operation needs to solely focus on building and maintaining a long-term grassroots and constituency operation. The lack of one in 2021 hurt dearly. All polling and data research needs to be focused now on likelihood to vote as voter registration. Under the heading, should Prime Minister Minnis be blamed for this loss, the report stated, not entirely. It said, rightly or wrongly, leaders take responsibility when their party loses. Is it fair in this case? Not entirely. Having a front row seat to this, it's clear that the Prime Minister was dealt a tough hand, one that at every turn required him to try to lead a country during extraordinary challenges while also trying to defy over 2 decades of history in getting reelected. Could key choices have been made faster? Yes. Could more decisive political action have made operations and communications flow more easily? Yes. But these would have come at a cost to the public service side that could have been equally as problematic.
What does that mean?
I have no idea, but these would have come at a cost to the public service side that could have
What
been
does that
equally
even
problematic.
mean? I don't even know. That doesn't make any sense, to be honest. How could communicating more come at a cost of the? Anyway,
Very interesting. It says the facts in this light, in the facts in the light of day, show that the prime minister's numbers with the swing voters that history had shown would decide this race were very good. Really?
sounds like a very divisional report.
Which numbers? What numbers are they talking about?
I think that in the report, I read a piece of it, and it was talking about how the voters were more so anti-Brave, anti-PLP, and apparently they got that from, I guess, pollsters and people who were doing the numbers before the election.
Oh, okay.
But the report later states how they missed something, whereas they didn't ask whether these voters were going out to vote.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of asking who were they likely to vote for, they were supposed to ask were they even going to vote, right? And so that's one of the reasons why people believe that this particular election, it mainly failed because of that.
All right. Wow. Okay. So more on that part. It says that his numbers, yes, versus PLP leader Brave Davis, with those voters were exceptional, and if they would have turned out, it would be a very different story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the people were so turned off by both of them that they decided not to vote. Yeah. Boy. All right, so we're going to take a break and then get more of your reaction on this. I'm going to read a few of your text messages before we do that and get into this. What do you make of what Dwayne Sands is saying? And, I think it's pretty clear what he's saying. Mischief is afoot, and somebody leaked it with the intention of making minutes look better. Do you think that's what's happening here? And just in general about this report, what do you make of it? What do you make of it? We're going to take this call quickly, and then we're going to take that break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
My Sandy little friend. Dwight, I'm not going to make no excuse for nobody. Some mistakes were made, and sometimes you need to listen to the people who be on the ground. I just be on the ground every day, Dwight, in the city. A lot of people didn't vote. Trust me. And I don't know why we in the Bahamas, we make people hate one another so much, man. Because even sometimes, Dwight, when you go to these public places of service, they choose like these dogs in our own country. That needs to stop. Dwight, see, I find no excuse for nobody because, and that's why I like a man like Churchill. And I watched that movie several times. What Churchill did, right? Churchill went on the train and he asked the common people, if they surrender or whatever. And people say no surrender. Sometimes when people give you the advice and they ain't right, I don't listen to it. See, anybody can talk. But talking sense to me is a serious thing, man. See, this country is divided straight down the middle. You see, and I think again, we know Dwight. See, I know taxes come in, though. I know taxes come in. I read the headline, BPL say, they think about I'm raising BPL again. Taxes got to come down in life is free, Dwight. Rich country. But what we need to do, and for all the effort who stay at home, y'all take that. Y'all need to stop it. Y'all do it all the time. Y'all too selfish. Y'all did it on the Papa, and y'all did it on the Mosquito Beam, and y'all need to stop. See, I don't like with no government to win by no landslide. Even if they haven't got beat by 4 or 5 votes, you had the government. The country would have been balanced. Because when the change things, it's too many people to please. You got to give too many people a job. Because they borrow money to pay civil service. That ain't right. We know the civil service is so heavy, over 30,000 people. Be sabotaged in BEC, be sabotaged in Waterwood, be sabotaged in Bahamas. That's right. We cannot run a country like this, man. Give somebody, some smart people, chairmanship of this board, and let's fix this country, man. And time to take my call, my brother.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to take a break and be back with more. We're going to get to your messages in just a bit. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
From the hospital that first night, took an
This
hour just
is 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is AP News. I'm Rita Foley. We'll start with a little good news. Gas prices are going down just a little bit. Gas is $4.96 a gallon this morning, down from $5.01 a week ago. President Biden wants it to keep going down. Here's the AP's Mike Hempen.
President Biden says he's considering a federal holiday on the gasoline tax and could decide within days.
I hope I have a decision based on data I'm looking for by the end of the week.
A gas tax holiday would save Americans up to 18 cents a gallon. The administration has been looking for ways to spare motorists from higher prices at the pump.
A gas tax holiday would likely face an uphill climb, though, in Congress. Today, the House January 6th committee will focus on how then-President Trump pressured battleground state officials as he pressed false claims of election fraud. The AP's Mike Gracia.
The key witness will be Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, who rebuffed pressure from then-President Donald Trump to overturn Joe Biden's victory in the Peach State.
I just want to file 11,780 votes.
In an AP interview after the call, Raffensperger, who is a Republican, said,
I wish it would have gone the other way, but my job is to be the scorekeeper, and that's how it shook.
Mike Gracia, Washington.
Millions of Americans are sweltering in the heat and humidity. The National Weather Service warning of high temperatures across the plains and Midwest. The hot weather's moving east and will pester the southeast in the next day or so. The nation's infants, toddlers, and preschoolers can now get their COVID shots. Vaccine shipments arrived in some locations over the weekend. $103 million. That's how much somebody paid at auction for a Nobel Peace Prize medal sold by a Russian journalist to raise money for Ukrainian child refugees. This is AP News. The NHL and Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Walt Marsicano is in Tampa with this, and here is his report on the game.
The Tampa Bay Lightning have life. After dropping the first two road games of the best-of-7 series, they win at home, beating the Colorado Avalanche 6-2. The Bolts got scoring from all four of their lines. Andre Palat had a goal and an assist, as did Steven Stamkos.
We had a much better start. We had some chances. We had some shots. We had some offensive zone shifts, something we didn't really have early in the game, the last two. So it's a different feel. We're obviously comfortable in playing those tighter, close games and games with the lead.
Nick Paul notched his fifth goal of the playoffs early in the second, which turned out to be the game winner. Anthony Cirelli, Pat Maroon, and Corey Perry each scored. Nikita Kucherov and Victor Hedman both finished with 2 assists. Both of Colorado's goals came on the power play off the stick of their captain, Gabriel Landeskog. Walt Marsicano, Tampa.
And I'm Rita Foley, AP News.
It's time for your first look at traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. For all of life's moments, there's one Visa Classic credit card. In your real-time traffic at this hour, we are seeing not much to talk about out there. As most schools are closed now, we've got just a little bit of traffic on Mile Butler Highway, just north of Harold Pond. You'll see that line in front of you heading toward the roundabout with Tawny Williams-Darling Highway. Gladstone Road, similar story. Just as you get closer to Munnings Road, you'll see the traffic, the long line in front of you to JFK Drive, but it's manageable. Blue Hill Road, similar story, just north of Soldier Road, that line over the hill to get to the roundabout with Independence Drive. Elsewhere, not very much happening. Smooth sailing for most of you. Some building traffic on Marathon northbound to the roundabout with Wolf Road. That's about it. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and pin security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Manage your day-to-day expenses and apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic. 7:44, the time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by BTC. We've got a frontal trough dissipating across the northwest Bahamas, while tropical moisture will continue to stream across the islands of the central and southeastern Bahamas. Residents and mariners should be alert for funnel cloud and waterspout activity. And everybody being advised to limit outdoor activities, especially during afternoon hours, the early afternoon hours, as we're expecting another day with triple-digit heat indices. For all areas today, your forecast calls for variably cloudy, hot, and humid conditions with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms, becoming partly cloudy with isolated showers with thunderstorms tonight. Gusty winds and higher seas are expected during showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures getting up to around 91 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius, but the heat index will be up to 101 Fahrenheit, 101 degrees Fahrenheit, 38 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. In your extended outlook, deep layered troughing will meander across the central and southeastern islands through the middle of the week, while high pressure will maintain gentle to moderate winds across the country. So for tomorrow, Tuesday, partly sunny, hot and humid with isolated showers and thunderstorms in the northwest, and partly cloudy to cloudy with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms in the central and southeastern islands. Wednesday, partly sunny, hot and humid with isolated showers and thunderstorms again in the northwestern part of the country, and partly cloudy to cloudy with widely scattered showers and isolated and southeastern islands. The tropics are thankfully quiet. Tropical cyclone formation not expected during the next 5 days. That's your morning blend weather check, brought to you by BTC. Switch to BTC and get 2 months of free internet for new customers for the first month and the second, and get the second and third months free. Pay for that first month and get the second and third months free. Get the speed you need and great savings on the Bahamas' best network. With BTC's fiber network, you can browse the web, enjoy social media, and stream your favorite HD videos. Visit a BTC store or call 225-5282 to sign up today. Conditions apply.
Are you an attorney with a joint practice operating from one location? Accepting payments from clients doesn't have to be complicated.
Introducing RBC MultiPay. Now each attorney can securely accept and settle payments with one point-of-sale device supporting multiple bank accounts.
With competitive pricing, training, and easy SIM will be up and running in no time.
Call 356-8500 to sign up for RBC MultiPay.
Imagine driving your dream car, doing all the things you never thought you could, like perfecting your parallel parking skills or picking up your date. Everyone loves to dream. Stop dreaming. Start driving with a brand new offer from Scotiabank. With an auto loan from Scotiabank, benefit from no payments for up to 2 months, a low interest rate up to 9 years to repay, and free insurance for the first year up to 2.5% of the loan amount. Promotion ends June 30th, 2022. Stop dreaming and start driving today with an auto loan from Scotiabank.
Around the world, Cleveland Clinic is recognized as a leader in healthcare. Our team of experts relentlessly pursues the best for our patients. From groundbreaking cancer research to state-of-the-art heart surgery, life-saving innovations happen here every day. When it's time to travel for your health, it's time to travel to Cleveland Clinic, your destination for care, for every care in the world. To learn more, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
The Water and Sewage Corporation advises customers residing in the areas of Blue Hill Road North, East Street, Palmdale, Shirley Street, Kemp Road, Village Road, Bay and West Bay Streets that the corporation will commence disconnection of water supply on Monday, June 20th, 2022 in the mentioned areas. To avoid disconnection of the water supply, customers whose accounts are in arrears or who have not honored their financial agreements are advised to see that their accounts are brought up to date or risk the water supply without further notice.
At Western Union, we have different sending options for you to use the one that fits you best. You can send money directly to bank accounts around the world, or for cash pickup by visiting our agent locations. Or you can also start your money transfer in our app and then pay cash in store. Look for an agent location near you, or download our app and send money to your loved ones abroad.
I used to think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem, just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings. I now only have one low monthly payment, plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport locations, or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
Create memories and experience moments with the love of your life that will last a lifetime right in our backyard. Escape the hustle and bustle of Nassau with your special someone for an intimate island getaway. You can get lost in the magic of an island sunrise or count the stars in the night sky. In the Family Islands, disconnect from the world and reconnect with the one that means the most. Now is the perfect time with our 2 fly-free Bahamas Residence special. Go to bahamasresidence.com for more info.
Switch for better when you move your mortgage to Scotiabank.
Leave behind that old mortgage plan and open the door to a low interest rate. No payments for up to 2 months and cash back of 2.5% of the mortgage amount up to US $10,000. And guess what? It gets better. Apply for your Scotiabank 9.99% introductory rate for the first 6 months. Switch for better and upgrade your mortgage today with Scotiabank. Offer ends June 30th, 2022.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Drums, please.
Here it is, a groove slightly transformed. Just a bit of a break from the norm. Just a little something.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, along with my guest co-host today, Tate Adderley. We are talking about what's in the news. It's officially the first day of summer, although in the Bahamas we know summer begins in May 1st, if not April, and goes to sometimes December 15th. But hey, that's why we love it, right? Yes. Okay, so we are. Can we play Will Smith? Are we allowed to play? Is he off the bad boy list? Pardon the pun. we can. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. So we're talking about this report. The report that the FNM is trying to distance. Well, the current leadership of the FNM, trying to distance themselves from this leaked report that they don't believe was entirely objective and is, they won't say it, but trying to paint a picture that Minnis was not to blame, that this was going to be difficult for anybody to overcome.
You know what's kind of funny, Dwight? I was at the FNM convention, I think it was early this year, and which was at Atlantis, and it's funny for them to say that Minnis wasn't to blame, but however, when I was at the convention, it was almost as if every speech that was given, it was more so throwing shade at Minnis, right? That's the impression that I got from every speech, almost every speech that I listened to at the convention. So it's strange to me hearing now that they're saying Minnis isn't to blame.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of funny because it's like, although I don't know if it's fair to say that Minnis was the full reason as to why, we can say that a lot of Bahamians have a strong dislike of Minnis because see how he carried on during the pandemic and probably his handling of the Hurricane Dorian fiasco.
Yeah.
So I don't, it's kind of weird for them to say that, but I think they're just being, I don't want to use the word delusional, but I think they're out of touch on this, to be honest.
Well, again, that's the report. We see with what Sands is saying that he's not coming out directly and saying, obviously, he's to blame, but just questioning some of the choices or the decisions, the conclusions that the report comes to. And so that could be seen as a way to say, well, you're dead wrong on that. But let's see what you say, folks. Give us a call. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Let's hear what you have to say about it. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight.
Good morning.
And good morning to the guests, and good morning to those who wake up in the land of the living. I hope you had something more on your chest. Dwight, you mean to tell me they actually paid people money to say why every time people were calling your talk shows and you had your guests, even people saying things, they still try to figure out why they lose. But
that's what the political parties do. Your folks did the same thing.
Yeah, but I was going to say both political parties.
Yeah.
See, Dwight, I like to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't just, both at times. All right, but you know something? Let me answer a question from Mr. Sands. Dwight, I want you to put on your diving suit. I take you down in the water for a minute, right? Listen, Mr. Sands, when the Bahamian people in this country were locked down, the families were dying and the PMH were dying in their houses, dying left or right. They were deprived, Mr. Strachan, to bury their families. Let's go a little deep in the water now. Watch this, Dwight. They allowed a lady to come in here to bury a dog under Mr. Sands' watch, under Mr. Diaglo watch, and under Mr. Mills' watch. And you still gonna ask people why you all lose? Boy, Dwight, I ain't gonna lie to you. If I was your co-host this morning, your ratings would have go up, because I can tell you one thing. If people really give their reasons with the big F on the end, why they lose, you'd have a talk show from tomorrow until maybe Friday.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank
you very much. And also ratings. And I've no doubt that Tate is helping the ratings today. But do it, sure. I hear you. All right. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, Dwight, morning.
Hi.
Yeah, listen, I don't understand people getting excited about, every government that come into power, they lost. The Bahamian people felt that they need to go. It happened to Ingram, and it happened to Penland and Perry. So I don't know, once you lose, that is your punishment. So I don't know all this thing that man get on bit. If the Bahamian people is not satisfied, whatever, you're gone, and that's your punishment. So why let's waste time on this matter? If you ain't doing a good job, or if they feel, even if you're doing a good job, and if you turn off the Bahamian people, you're gone. So why be running around? This is not only with the F&M. This happens to all governments. So let's move on and move on how we can better this country, man.
I mean, that sounds all well and good, but we know, but there's an issue though. We know that the changing of governments every 5 years is having some negative impacts on the country.
That's a problem.
That is true.
Right? So we can't continue on this. We can't continue like this. And you're right. If you get tired of them, kick them out, and that's all within your right.
You want to analyze why they lose.
But no, you've got to. At what cost? When will we be able to have a two-term that can get some things done? Because they keep using the 5 years as a limiting factor on why they can't get anything done. So that's a problem. So we do need to look at it to figure out what happened. What happened? Okay, we're going to break for news. When we come back, more on this, and then we'll get into some of our discussions. A lot to talk about this morning. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796. And out at 21, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Here is what's happening. Here's what's happening. We've got a frontal trough dissipating across the northwest Bahamas, while tropical moisture will continue to stream across the islands in the central and southeastern Bahamas. Residents and mariners being advised to be alert for funnel cloud and water spout activity. And once again, everybody's being advised to limit outdoor activities, especially during afternoon hours, as we're expecting another day with triple-digit heat indices. Limit outdoor activities if you can. For all areas today, look for variably cloudy, hot, and humid conditions with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms, becoming partly cloudy with isolated showers or a thunderstorm tonight. Gusty winds and higher seas expected in or near showers and thunderstorms. High temperatures getting up to around 91 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. But the heat index is going to be a factor today. It's going to make it feel like it's 101 Fahrenheit, 38 Celsius. In your extended outlook, deep layered troughing will meander across the southeastern and central islands until at least the middle of the week, while high pressure will maintain gentle breezes across the country. So for Tuesday and for Wednesday, we're looking at partly sunny, hot, and humid conditions with isolated showers and thunderstorms in the northwest, and partly cloudy to cloudy with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms in the central and southeastern islands. The tropics are quiet. Tropical cyclone formation not expected during the next 5 days. That's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance, still the first and only insurance company and agency network that lets you buy car and home insurance 100% online. Try it at bahamasfirst.com. And at 8:24, time for another check of the traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. For all of life's moments, there's one Visa Classic credit card. In your real-time traffic this morning, Milo Butler Highway, just midway between Fire Trail and Tawny Williams Darling Highway. You'll be seeing that heavy traffic for you in the northbound lanes there. So that's about near Harold Pond up to Tawny Williams Darling Highway. Better alternate routes are going to be Gladstone Road and even the Blue Hill Road. Gladstone Road, just as you get closer to Munnings Road in the northbound lanes, you'll see that heavier traffic there on the way to JFK Drive. And Blue Hill, just building traffic between St. Vincent and Carmichael, and then just north of Soldier Road on the way to Independence Drive, especially as you get over that hill. Independence Drive, building traffic westbound as well to that roundabout with Blue Hill Road. Then we've got some pockets of traffic. Marathon building traffic northbound to Wolf Road. And that intersection, Soldier, Wolf, Village, and Bernard, seeing some heavy traffic there northbound. Remember, you might want to avoid Village Road if you can, as the work continues there. It's not a pleasant driving experience on Blue Hill Road these days. Elsewhere, just pockets along Prince Charles Drive, the major intersections. And West Bay Street near Saunders roundabout with New Providence Highway. That's eastbound there. Those are your hot spots. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC. Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and pin security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Manage your day-to-day expenses and apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic.
See the curtains hanging in the window in the evening of a Friday night. Little light is shining through the window, lets me know everything's alright. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with my special guest co-host today, Tate Adderley. We are here on the first official day of summer and talking about what's in the news, getting your reaction to this report, the F&M on and the F&M questioning some of the conclusions that it came to. And we're going to get your final comments on this, and I want to move on to something else before we move on. This text here earlier, we said this about the challenges we're seeing with just a 5-year government's administrations. This person says here, they don't need more than 5 years to get things done. We're not giving 10 years or more to anyone anymore. Whoa. 5 years only, so work faster, governments.
I don't know if that's practical. I don't think that's practical at all.
Boy, oh boy. Yeah, that's Well, we'll just have more of what we've been seeing.
Because my thing is, if you governance itself, it has to be long term, right? And honestly, what we've been seeing, as you're saying, basically when one party leaves and another comes in, there's this whole period of stop and review.
Yeah.
And then, stuff like the National Development Plan, stuff like that, when it stopped, what is going to be the long-term directive of the country?
Mm-hmm.
How do we set that out? How do we set out a vision for ourselves? And I think if we keep thinking like that, then, like you said, we're going to have it keep happening. And then we won't know where we'll be going in the next 20 years, in the next 40 years. So it's not practical to think that way. I understand that Bahamians want to get stuff done and they're tired for the last 22 years, but there has to be a system or some type of document that governs a vision for us, like the National Development Plan. But, we need people to buy into that and to have consensus into that. And I don't think that we've seen that.
Yeah. Let's take some calls on this. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight.
Hi. Good morning.
Yeah, I think that guy has with the 5 years. Basically, it makes sense to me in terms of not giving you more than 5 years.
Wow.
Because obviously that's the trend. But he said something interesting about the national plan. The issue is the reason they get more than 5 years is because they're coming with their promises, right? They're not staying on budget. They're running us in debt, right? They're not accomplishing a lot of things that they promised. So they're getting voted out. If you have a national plan that both parties sit and agree to with the framework of the way forward on major things to improvement of the country, and if they can iron out certain things, then that can determine whether or not you could move into a 6 to 7 year, given a second term in your governance. But these Bahamian people are not going to give you 5 years anymore if they don't see any type of movement in creating any type of economic growth in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what needs to happen. They need to have a direction for the next 30 to 40 years in which this country could progress.
Wow. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
morning, Dwight. Morning, Kate.
Hi, good morning.
Let me just say I'm in full agreement with the previous caller. In fact, he shared a lot of the sentiments that I have concerning the way forward for this country. He's absolutely correct. Our country has been on autopilot operating on these five-year plans for quite some time, which is quite disturbing to many of us out here. It is important that the city representatives in our parliament, who forms the government, even though the people is the government, but they represent us, they need to come together basically and try to formulate how and strategize how they're going to take the things that's on the agenda now and formulate a long-term plan that they are in agreement with, that despite the fact that one party government may go out and another one comes in, there's a continuation of the plan. I'll close on this one point. Every time we talk about these things, right, sadly, and it apparently flies over a lot of persons' heads, we're talking about the taxpayers' money. These are monies that we have to pay back regardless. And if we don't pay it, our children will, and our children's children will pay it back. We have to be very careful and very deliberate on how we want to move this country forward, and we have to do it forward, upward, onward together. Thanks for taking my call.
Okay, all right, thanks a lot. I'm just going to read this text, and then we got to move on. This person says here, I was a deep F&M. I'm 58 years old and never voted anything other than F&M. Dr. Minnis was the reason I voted for the DNA, which I knew was a lost vote. My disappointment grew every day with his leadership and unwillingness to fulfill any of his campaign promises. Sir, instead of voting, could have done both. No, anyway, I don't understand. Or what? What type of hair is this? Does it take all day?
I mean, that's very telling about how people feel. Like, it's a growing apathy. People don't care anymore. People don't see the sense in it. Whereas, don't see the sense of voting because we know the trajectory. We know what's going to happen.
Oh man. Well. The texter goes on to say, the friend who went to the hairdresser was another deep F&M supporter. Minutes from one more year would have gotten them 0 seats. It's clear he consulted nobody with sense or didn't listen to them. P.S. The new leadership seems to be ignoring all the important things that Minutes ignored. I have heard nothing about what he is going to do differently, so I guess I will vote for Lincoln Bain and land ownership advancement if they are still around. Suck my teeth. Oh, boy. Yikes. This one says here, why? Okay, yeah, we're going to get to that in just a second. The F&M election report is a joke. It's simply that. And the same group who advised Minnis with incorrect polling now giving a summation as to why he lost, please. When you don't listen, you will feel. Tell Minnis and his group to get along. What? Sick and tired of Minnis not accepting his loss. Okay. All right. So we're running out of time, but this texter is asking some questions that, we do need some. I wanted to get to this report, to the report about, you heard in the news, the woman who was living in the bus who rented the 2 buses and put them together to, my goodness. So Wayne Monroe, the national security, you're chasing these people off the land, but what about the shanty towns? And he says that they do intend to demolish the shanty towns that are not subject to that injunction. But then he made some interesting statements about the differences between Crown land versus people living in shanty towns. And this is raising eyebrows because this is not what we were hearing from the previous administration, right? So he says, Crown land belongs to the government. Private land belongs to private owners, okay? If you permit people to squat on your property, after 12 years, they will own it. That's what the laws of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas says. Shanty towns, as I'm made to understand, are on leased land by private homeowners. The issue that the government has with shanty towns is a legal building, contrary to the relevant laws. The Ministry of Works has gone to demolish properties. There was an injunction in place. My understanding is that the Ministry of Works will continue seeking to demolish all illegally built properties that are not the subject of the injunction. But we do not own privately owned land. Now, That's not what we were led to believe. Remember the report that at the time it was Dion Folks who was the minister, and a good portion, if not most, of the land was Crown land that the shanty towns were on. Of course, there were private properties, yes, but the majority was Crown land.
So
what's happening here?
So this was in particular to Abaco, or was this in Nassau as well?
That was throughout the country.
I don't know. I've always been led to believe personally that when it came to like issues like shanty towns, I've always been led to believe that these persons were on like leased land, like private land. That's the impression.
Now, people were leasing Crown land. They were supposed to be doing it for farmland, but they leased it from the government. But it was leased Crown land, not leased private land. There are exceptions, but a lot of it is Crown land. And that's what that report said, and that's why the government was getting so involved in it. And that's why they said they were going to deal with the ones in New Providence, because the injunction didn't cover that. You remember they had to go to court to clearly define that. So this is some interesting talk here, and now we have a even murkier situation as to what's going on. And this texter is asking the same question. Why is Wayne Monroe calling Crown land the government's? It's the people's land. Well, that's a different story. Okay. But anyway, we got to move on. We are changing gears. When we come back, frequently asked questions for parents and students who are going to be heading to Canada. We've got a special guest who's going to be joining us for that conversation. You don't want to miss that, folks. Do you know who I'm talking about? All the way from Canada? Who could it be? Find out after the break. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
See the curtains hanging in the window in the evening of a Friday night. Little light is shining through the window, lets me know everything's alright. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind.
Around the world, Cleveland Clinic is recognized as a leader in healthcare. Our team of experts relentlessly pursues the best for our patients. From groundbreaking cancer research to state-of-the-art heart surgery, life-saving innovations happen here every day. When it's time to travel for your health, it's time to travel to Cleveland Clinic. Your destination for care. For every care in the world. To learn more, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
Are you an attorney with a joint practice operating from one location? Accepting payments from clients doesn't have to be complicated.
RBC MultiPay. Now each attorney can securely accept and settle payments with one point-of-sale device supporting multiple bank accounts.
With competitive pricing, training, and easy setup, you will be up and running in no time.
Call 356-8500 to sign up for RBC MultiPay.
Doctors Hospital's Pharmacy introduces a new spin on prescriptions called Pick Up Now, Pay Later. That's right, you can collect your medications first and pay after. How does it work? Step 1, submit a prescription online. Step 2, select the pickup site. Step 3, collect your medication. And Step 4, pay online within 14 days. For more info, call us at 242-302-4785 or visit us at doctorshosp.com.
You know, you should teach a savings class, because you know everything.
No, I just choose wisely. Like, I just got 2 months free home internet from BTC. All I did was sign up for internet.
2 months internet free? For real?
I bundled my internet and mobile services, and now I'm paying half of what the other guys charge. Plus, as a new customer, I get 2 months internet free.
What? Nah, that's a big deal.
Switch to BTC Internet and get the second and third months free for new customers. Conditions apply.
You're always on the go. We know life can be a daily rush. CIBC, yeah, you can count on us. We make life easier. Manage your accounts at any time. Apply for a loan. It's easy when you bank online. We make life easier with choices that suit you. CIBC, First Caribbean.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, along with Tate Adderley on this Tuesday morning. People are trying to guess who the guest is. I'm talking about somebody actually says Brian Adams. Okay. No, not today. Not today.
What?
You all are some funny people. Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's our dear friend Nahaja Black. Nahaja Black is with us this morning. Nahaja Black.
Michael Bublé would have been a great guest.
Yeah. Okay.
I would say.
Next
Yeah.
time we'll work. You
Michael
maybe you
Bublé.
can help us work on that, Nahaja Black. And you're also
Morning.
Let me get your title right now because you got a big title there. You are the second. Vice consul.
it's not a-
It's the second secretary and vice consul.
Vice consul.
Right.
Yeah, it's not. It's just titles. It means nothing.
Yeah,
Really.
And you're joined by Mr. Nestor Sands. He's the senior foreign service officer and second secretary and vice consul as well. Sir, good morning. Great to have you with us.
Good morning to you, Mr. Strachan, your panel, my colleague, and of course the Bahamas.
All right.
Pleasure to be here.
Wonderful. So we've got some serious things to talk about, Naj. We'll get to you in a little bit, but we're talking about it's June and people are getting ready to go to school. Can you believe that? I mean, school just wrapped up, but it's only about two and a half months before schools reopen for the fall, and so there are a lot of things that people need to know if they're students, if they're going off to school, or if parents need to know as well, and that's what we're talking about this morning.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
And I think and we're excited to do it. Nestor Sands, just for the record, this apart from the title, Nestor Sands is one of the most brilliant foreign service officers that I've met thus far in all of my training, and so we have one of the best persons to answer these questions by far.
Okay. All right. That is wonderful. All right. So what do people need to be knowing? It's June. You've read. I guess this is for people going off for the first time, right? That's who we're addressing this morning.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, Nestor, go ahead.
All right. So what are some of the things that people should be doing right now? Middle of June, only a few months before you're heading off to school. And have any of these things changed as a result of the pandemic?
Yeah, well, yes, you still need to apply for your biometrics, and I think at the Canadian High Commission in Kingston, and then you also have to get a TRV permit to enter Canada as well. So that's one of the things that has changed.
Oh,
yeah, you have to get a TRV permit as well. Students as well as tourists who go, but students too have to get that along with their study permit and the biometrics from the Canadian High Commission in Kingston.
All right. How long does that all take?
The overall process is usually about 2 weeks, unless there's an issue. That's the time frame I've been told.
Mm-hmm. So is now the time to be doing this, or should you do it closer to the time that you will be traveling?
I would suggest best to do it, I'd say August, when you're closer to your time that you're traveling. Mm-hmm. That'd be best to do it then.
Mm-hmm. And what will they be asking of you? What was going to be required?
Well, you have to, your passport, you need your passport, your letter of acceptance from the university that you're going to. I think you would need also be in good health standing, so maybe a doctor's letter in health standing. And I think, of course, you would need access to the internet as far as getting the TRV.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you have to be in person to submit the fingerprints or the biometrics into the system.
Okay, exactly.
I don't know the process, what they do in Kingston, but what we do here at the High Commission, we do biometrics. You put your fingerprints on a scanner, and then you just click the button, and it goes through. I'm presuming that's how they do it also in Canada, the Canadian High Commission in Kingston.
So will you have to go to Kingston? Do we lose everything?
Sorry, I was muted.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, you would have to go to Kingston. As far as I'm aware, I don't know of any changes to that.
Well, Actually, they do give you, just to add to it, they do give you other options in Florida as well.
Okay.
That has recently been added. So you won't necessarily have to fly straight to Kingston. You can go to spaces in Ottawa. But the temporary residency visa is a new addition.
And that's what TRV
everyone
stands
now
for. Temporary.
That's a TRV.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right.
And go ahead.
So you cannot do that at all here in Nassau, the biometrics?
Unfortunately not.
And this is a recent development.
Yes. This is a COVID development. That's what I call it. But Mr. Sands might say differently. I would say that, it's something that's happened within this time frame. And it is a requirement now. Mm-hmm. It's just an additional layer that has to happen.
Oh, boy. All right. So, but Florida, you can go to Miami maybe and just do it there instead of Kingston. That's easier for you.
And they will provide you with a list of biometric spaces. And the reason why I'm aware of this is because we ourselves had to be informed of this process as well to take a post. So it is a new addition.
Mm-hmm. This is we are still trying to sort ourselves out of the pandemic.
I think it's a permanent condition.
Okay. Yes. Oh boy. Okay. All right. So that is another layer that people need to plan for there. What else do people need to keep in mind? We're getting lots of questions. People are very interested to know what's going on here. What else do people need to keep in mind?
Well, go ahead.
Something to keep in mind, which is what we've seen quite a bit, and this is coming from our frontline staff there at the mission, is that we have a lot of students that come to school but don't have a U.S. visa. And this is important in the event that you find yourself having to travel into the United States from Canada. And you cannot travel into the United States from Canada without a U.S. visa. And folks find themselves in a jam this way. So it is really recommended that everyone get their U.S. visas updated. Students coming in, if you are an older student and you are a parent and you're bringing your children and you plan on driving, also get your driving history from the road traffic. This is, I'm telling you, something that I needed myself, and was unaware. So please do get your driving history, bring it with you.
Your driving history?
Your driving history, yes. So from road traffic, you would request from road traffic department your driving history from the moment you got your driver's license to present, and it will state whether your driving history is perfect, etc. And Mr. Sands also was so kind to tell me about this as well.
What's going to be included in that? What do you?
Yeah, what's included in that driving? Yeah, sounds like a government ministry, to be honest.
It is from the road traffic department. Ness, you want to explain to them what really is?
Yes, the driving history letters is from the road traffic department, and essentially what they tell you is whether or not you've been in an accident or not.
Oh.
You have a clean driving record, and they also say how long you have been driving since you had your license. Mm-hmm. So all that has to go in the letter, and then that is forwarded on. We send it to the Bahamian national here who needs a driver's license, would then take that to the relevant authority here.
All right,
so apply for their Canadian driver's license.
Wow. So if you're a student and you're pretty young, I mean, you don't have much of a history, is that going to be an impediment for you or not necessarily? What happens?
Well, they would probably have to take the driving test here, and the full driving test here in Canada. It would certainly increase their insurance rates, without a doubt.
Most definitely.
Yeah, that will happen. So more than likely, like first-time students who just get a license, they might be better off just applying for a Canadian driver's license once they get here. Mm-hmm. It would be easier process.
Okay, all right. This is a lot to process. We're getting questions about the biometrics, how long it takes.
One question, if you don't mind, Dwight. Mm-hmm. Could you give an estimation of, or basically a comparison to basically the Bahamian driver's test and the Canadian driver's test? If they do have to take it, is it more difficult? Does it require more? stuff like that, just in case.
Okay. Well, they drive on the right over here, so that would be one difference.
Okay.
They would have to learn the Canadian road signs and road
And there's
rules.
a lot of those.
Yeah, yes.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah, so, and of course, they'd probably have to do the driving test on the highways. Of course, we don't have that. We don't have any highways. So it's not comparable to Canada. So that's something that they would have to be aware of.
Okay.
And driving in snow is quite special.
Oh, yes. I'm glad you mentioned that. That is tricky.
Yes.
You have to change, in wintertime, you have to change the snow tires.
You have to change your tires.
It's get fact, that's the law. And if you don't do it, you could find yourself a fatal accident with regular tires during the winter.
Yeah.
Plus, you can also get fined by the police.
Wow.
So they have to be aware of that.
Yeah. All right. So the biometrics, how long does it take? Could this cause some issues with getting everything done in time?
I would recommend that we start the TRV. I actually, and Nesta, you can let me know if I'm right or not, but I going through the process myself, I would recommend as soon as you are requested to gather the TRV that you start that process so that you can then do whatever is necessary in a timely fashion.
Yes.
So that really, as soon as possible, just get started. The timeline, I cannot personally tell you the timeline of it because it was something that we found ourselves exempt from, but it would have been where the turnaround was about, I think it was supposed to have been about 7 days. So, or, you may be able to walk away with your biometrics at the time. So that's something I can get the final answer for you on that. So whilst we're doing this, I can actually get the final answer for you on that. So,
yeah. Okay. Right. Someone's messaging us ahead of a child going through the process that can be done in a day, but you have to make an appointment.
Okay, so in a day.
All right. So so many other questions. With what are the rules on vaccinations now for students? So you're required to have it. Where do things stand?
It is evolving. It is evolving. And Nessa, I'll let you go first, and I'll share from my vantage point as someone who has registered kids in school recently. So, Mr. Sands, you can go first, and then I'll follow.
Okay. I think it's a certain age limit. I think you're 8 years old now for vaccinations for students. As far as I'm aware, I'm not too sure on that, but that's the last age I heard as far as getting vaccinations for students.
So everybody 8 and older
right,
would need to be vaccinated.
Vaccinated, yes.
So definitely, if you're in college, you need to be vaccinated.
Yes, without a doubt. And then actually to travel to Canada, I think you have to be vaccinated as well.
Yes.
All right. So
or if not vaccinated, then you would have to be quarantined. I think, is that it?
Yes, quarantined for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be quarantined for 2 weeks.
And you have to submit
tested.
a quarantine plan. Yeah.
Right.
Tested, quarantine plan, all of these things. So it is stringent here.
You yourself have to have, as in what, where you're going to stay and how you're going to get food and all of that.
Exactly.
Oh my.
Yes.
Okay. And the U.S. and the Bahamas are easing their testing requirements, but what about Canada?
There's recently, they have dropped the testing requirements inter-province, so within interstate travel. So that is the recent change. I don't know if there's something else that I may have missed.
But that's correct.
In the country, you still will need to test.
Yes, that's correct. You need to test or be vaccinated.
All right. Or so that means you if you're vaccinated, not necessarily.
No, sorry, my bad. You have to be vaccinated now to enter Canada. All right. It's no longer just or a test. They have to be vaccinated.
So if you are vaccinated, you still need to test to enter.
No, you don't. You don't need a test if you're vaccinated.
No, you don't.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get to some of the questions we're getting. Lots of questions here. Okay. That's Brian Adams again. Why don't we have? I mean, this is a question for the Canadians, I guess. Well, why can't you do these tests, the biometrics, at least here in the Bahamas? I don't think you all can answer that one. What if you're going to Toronto and not planning on driving over there? I don't understand the question. What does that mean?
Well, if you're not planning on driving, there's no need to worry about your driving history if you're not planning on driving. And for rentals, you don't have to provide that either. This is if you want to lease or purchase a car, you would need your driving history.
Do you have to take a driving test if you've had your license for more than 5 years? You still need the driving history, though, I guess.
Driving history. Yeah. Again, if we're leasing or purchasing a vehicle, driving history. And this is very helpful. Again, as Mr. Sands mentioned, in the cost of insurance for your vehicle. You are new in country. They don't have a record on you. You don't have any sort of history with them. And so, of course, costs can increase tremendously without that level of history.
All right, so let's talk about some of the things that students are allowed to do once they're over there, what they're allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do. And after you've finished college, how long can you stay, that kind of stuff. What do people need to keep in mind?
Well, if you're a student studying, you're not allowed to work until after you get your degree, and then you can apply for a work permit. And then that they usually give you a work permit for about 1 year, and then after that, if you want to stay in Canada, you can apply for permanent residency.
Well, what about on-campus jobs? Is that against the rules, or is that something different?
Yeah, you can work on campus.
Okay. What else? You talked about the U.S. visa, how important that is, especially if you have to travel through the U.S. cities to get to Canada. Anything specific that folks maybe heading to the western part of Canada need to keep in mind, as opposed to where we think Bahamians go, Toronto and Eastern Canada? Any other specific issues out there that people need to keep in mind?
There's nothing different if you're going out to the western part of Canada. Same rules for the entire country.
And for your offices, the consulate, so where are you located? Where can people get information if they're over there and they need to talk to somebody? What do they do?
Okay, well, it's just in the city of Ottawa, 99 Bank Street, Suite 415. Our telephone number, 613-232-1724. You can also access us on the internet. Our internet address is www.bahigco.ca. That's BAHIGH co.ca. You have all the information about the mission on that website, and any information that a Bahamian would need as far as regarding applying for passports, and for foreigners who wish to view the website to get information on visas and doing business in the Bahamas.
And also, we have our Facebook page, which I encourage everyone to follow, as we're going to be making it, we're going to definitely be adding more information here. We have a lot of brilliant Bahamians over here who are helping folks to transition. Jerissa Knowles, I think that's her name, who's been assisting Bahamians for a long time.
Yes.
A large contingent of students that travel up to Prince Edward Island to a small college called Holland College. And parents are struggling to find housing within PEI. So that's something where persons like Ms. Knowles and others might be able to help with that transition. And also there's an app called Kijiji, very interesting app online, Kijiji, Kijiji, that is used across Canada. This is a non-sponsored event thing, but I found that many Canadians have recommended it to me for finding things such as, parking spaces, housing, whatever. But it's an app that I find that can be quite helpful for parents and students when they're looking for things online within Canada, learning about the marketplace of Canada. And so I would like for folks to, if they would love to, finally, we would love to have parents, students, please register with the mission so that we can get more information, be there for you if something happens, and really build a database, continue with our database to know where our students are, what they're studying, how we can assist, etc. So we would love for you to email us at ottawa.mission@bahaico.com. And I think did I get that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Ottawa.mission.
At Bahaico, BAHIGHCO.com. So abbreviation of Bahamas High Commission. Bahaico.com.
Okay. All right.
And so that we can really connect and talk more, and follow us on Facebook at Bahamas High Commission Ottawa, so that we can, as we send out information, we can be as helpful as possible. And someone shared with us that they are working as a student. There's 20 hours a week that you can work once you are on and off campus. So that's something there that I'm happy to hear. And that's one of the good things with the Bahamian diaspora here. They're very informative and they share the information. And that's what we want all of our parents to feel comfortable knowing that we want to help with this transition. And special thanks to our head of Chancery and Deputy High Commissioner, Ms. Chanel Brown, who's given us the opportunity to do this morning.
Do you have any idea how many students are over there right now? Do you have any numbers?
Well, can I say it's a fascinating question. I asked Mr. Sands that same question. We went to Foreign Affairs, or got some information from Foreign Affairs. Their data set has every other Caribbean country except the Bahamas in the amount of students who are there, permits, study permits, etc. Our information is not in their data set. So that is something that I'm working on to get information on, because I think it's very important that we know how many people travel for school every year, how many study permits that is doled out by the Canadian government, what provinces our students are in, etc. So that's information I'm working on, Dwight.
Okay. All right. So hopefully the next time we talk, we'll get that from you. All right. So Nestor Sands, I'll be indulged just for just a minute here. We want to talk to our good buddy Nahaja Black. So Nahaja, tell us about how it's been so far, what it is specifically that you are going to be doing over there, and whether you've ordered any special mirrors or beds for your residents while you're over there.
Dwight. Training was what I've been doing for the past 3 months. I finally arrived in Ottawa May 11th and started work the 21st or whatever. So I'm just on the ground beginning to get my feet wet. And Mr. Sands has been wonderful in training me, as well as Chancery Brown getting me really, sorted and ready. So it's a dual role function. Mr. Sands is Second Secretary, Vice Consul, Senior Foreign Service Officer, but unfortunately, he is leaving us this week. So then I and myself and Ms. Roll will be falling in line and taking up those roles that he has left. It is a diplomatic and consular position. And at the same time, I've also been tasked with finding opportunities for Bahamians over there in Canada. And so it has been interesting thus far. A lot of exciting things have been happening, which I will tell you about later when things are solid. And I'm looking forward to whomever is our new High Commissioner, so that they will, blessings on such. But exciting things are happening on this side. I cannot divulge because, of course, I don't have that sort of authority to do so.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to hear. Good to hear your voice. We miss you, and we know you're going to do well. Thank you very much. And Nestor Sands, you're moving on. Are you going to be moving to another country, or what's going to be happening with you?
I'm going back to Nassau at headquarters.
All right, wonderful. We'll see when you get back. And thank you for your service. Thank you both for talking with us this morning, and hopefully, folks who are going off to school or have children going off to school, paying attention that there's work to be doing over the next few weeks. But Naja Black and Esther Sands, thank you both for talking with us this morning.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Miss you too, buddy.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk soon. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Morning Blend Business, the Consumer Protection Commission, they're here with us. They are addressing plenty consumer complaints about commercial banks, what they're doing about it. That's coming up. Stay tuned for that. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day. FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday, June 21st, 2022. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan, and along with my guest co-host today, Tate Adderley. And
Good morning.
This morning, we are doing our monthly segment with the Consumer Protection Commission, Consumer Voice, right here on Morning Blend Business. And today we're looking at a hot topic. It's some of the practices of some of the commercial banks, consumer complaints about this. And welcome from the Commission, Managing Director Michelle Carroll and Deputy Commissioner Tyrone Rock Morris. Great to have you all with us again in studio. Rock, it's been a while since you've been here, but welcome. And Michelle, it's always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you. Good to be back here and good to be back home.
Oh, yes, of course. All right, so this is a hot topic. People have a love-hate relationship with the commercial banks. And have you been getting an increase in complaints?
Yes, Dwight. I just want to say first that we've been getting a lot of calls into consumer protection in regards to the banking sector. And so, our job at consumer protection is to protect the rights of consumers, all consumers.
Right.
And so we have began a series of talks with the central bank and other banks. And so Mr. Morris is heading that committee.
Okay.
And so he will speak more on where we are with the negotiations, where we are with the talks.
Yeah. But I wanted to ask you about that because the last time you were here, you talked about who's responsible for what. And I think that you did say it was the central bank,
Yes.
the commercial banks.
Yes.
But people still come to you.
Oh, yes, because they want us to help them.
Yeah.
And so as early as yesterday, we got complaints coming in again, and persons walked into certain banks. We're not here to bash the banks, But we're here to let the Bahamian consumers know that we are working for them through the banks. And we will do our endeavor best to make sure that they are protected from every fraudulent activities or any fraudulent activities.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here at Consumer Protection doing right at this point.
Okay, so we've got a lot of issues to talk about, but the big one that you've been is banks that are charging you fees if you pay off your mortgage early.
What?
You think that will be something they give you balloons or something for, but you're getting hit with fees and more. Let's talk about this. I've heard of this before. In fact, the bank that I ended up getting my mortgage with used that as a selling device. Is right. Well, if you go with those other guys, there are fees for early repayment, but this might be more widespread than people think.
Well, that is correct, Dwight. But before I delve into your point, I think we ought to apprise the Bahamian public that the bank problem that the consumers are now experiencing isn't anything new.
Right.
Has been going on for a while, and in fact, from 2016, the Consumer Protection Commission, along with the Central Bank and the Clearing Bank Association and other businesses, the businesses that represent all of these small ones, the chamber and those, they have been meeting and trying to address this vexing problem. But yes, Dwight, the banks invite you in to get a loan, a mortgage, and you have to pay them some kind of fee to get started. There perhaps are two types of charges prior to them giving you the loan, them to make money. However, if by chance you are able to repay that mortgage, it will cost you. It'll cost you up to 6 months interest. I don't, and so I believe it is fair to say that all of our commercial banks are operating that way. Now, if that is not the case, I wish to hear from the first one, right? Because I've reviewed a number of banks, and this isn't anything particular to the Bahamas. In fact, I visited banks in Barbados, as an example. They're doing the same thing.
Right.
So there is an effort to charge the Bahamian public, not the Bahamian in our case, but the public who have reasons to deal with the banks. There are a myriad of fees and charges.
All right, so what do you say? I mean, they're going to say, well, we make money off the interest, and so making the money off of an agreement that we had that you'd have 25 years to do this, and you owe us. The amount that we agreed that you'd pay was based on the 25 years, and if you cut this down to 20 or 15, you're depriving us some money, and you owe us some money.
Well, I'm not too sure that is the case, but that may be their argument, and notwithstanding that, I am not too sure that you should be penalized for that. And like I said, in the beginning, it costs you commitment fees and other fees just to borrow the money to pay them back. So they're making money off you several different ways. And in addition to the interest that they make, Dwight, and the Bahamians, in addition to that, they have about 12 or so areas in which various charges are applied. One of the banks, I counted about 150 different charges that bank operates from. So they're making a killing. Now, my position is that all banks ought to be able to make something for the services that they may offer. One of the problems that I have is the fact that they charge what they want. They decide that today we're going to charge $2. If this is ERCA operating, and if any of the utilities wanted to increase by 1 cent, there is a process. With the banks, there are no process. They decide that today we want this particular service to be X amount of dollars. And they can do it. And guess what, Dwight? The central bank is in no position to say to them otherwise. And the central bank is the supervision body.
Yeah.
Supposed to be regulatory as well, and but they will tell you that they can't tell banks what not to charge or what they can charge.
Is there a particular reason for that? Is that by law? Like, why is that the case?
I have not been able to determine that, but what was being said was that they may regulate and they may be able to assist in those areas, but to determine what charges are. Like I said to them, there can't be a free for all. Whenever you feel you need to increase, there has to be some basis upon increases. And even when that happens, they ought not to be the final say or have the final say in making that determination.
All right, so what did they say? You've met with them. What are they saying so far? Where do things stand? We've heard also the government saying they want to get involved and examine the fees and see if this is really being fairly applied.
Well, I'll say this, Dwight. With central bank, and their position is, like I stated, they may regulate, but their biggest, I won't say concern, the main thing that they try to do is ensure that banks have transparency. Yes. That is foremost in their mind. So, in other words, before I give you the royal, make sure be transparent with it. That's pretty much what they're saying. You can go and do what you want to the Bahamian public, but before you do it, just let them know. Now, that's my way of putting it, but I do not think that is the best way. We can't. I mean, if we're not doing it, mind you, one of the things they have said to us is that what we're doing isn't nothing new. We're not the only one doing it, right? Yes. You go in the Caribbean, they're doing it. You go in Europe, they're doing it. And I would say this, it's a business. One time ago, and I made the same example to them. One time ago, the world made money off of slavery.
Oh, my.
That was a good business practice then. Right?
You said this to the bank?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, I get what he's trying to say.
Yes. And so,
was that taken well? Did they respond well to that?
Well, it's not a matter of taking well or not taking well. It was my point. And so I said to them, so please don't say to me that the world is doing it. Yes, we use the world to benchmark some stuff, but we have to examine what is happening to our people, and we need not be or follow the world in areas in which you do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Mind you, I'll say this. Maybe it's not being taken advantage of. I don't know. But obviously, enough is not being done. Enough is not being done to sensitize fully the Bahamian public on what it is they're doing, why they're doing. And like I said several times, there is no way. The central bank is not, according to them, in a position to say to our banks, $2 is too much, or if so, it's going to be an uphill struggle. But I'll tell you one good thing about what is happening at Central Bank, and that is they've now, in 2021, hired or established an office of the ombudsman, which is a good thing, in that complaints against banks can now be made to that particular office.
Okay.
And which is run by one Miss Higgs. I really enjoyed our meeting with them, but you now have that ability to, whatever the complaint is. Now we have to be careful when the politicians they do some stuff and it's all intended to be good, but the office of the ombudsman at the central bank is not statutory as yet.
Right.
And so, it's for that approach, because they have to create a framework and all that stuff, but it's the right thing. And
You said this was established last year?
Yes, in 2021,
Do you
as
know
I've
if
been
anything-
advised.
Anything has come out of it as yet? Or
Well, the office is operating at the central bank, and they've said to us, listen here, let the Bahamian public know that
they
we
can
are.
call us.
Yes, we are.
And we're here for them.
Yeah. Yes.
But I was mentioning, I missed the meeting. I was on vacation, and I told Mr. Morris that my concern from the Bahamian consumers is that why do we have to wait? Why do you, the central bank, have to wait until the consumers call? What initiatives are you doing right now to ensure that consumers know about you? You're not out there marketing yourselves. You're on the down low, because I didn't know they even existed.
Yeah.
Last year,
People think they just have to take whatever the
Yes.
banks dish out to them.
Yes, and so I differed with Mr. Morris in that they need to, and that's why the talks, I wanted the talks. And I mentioned to the chairman that we must have those talks. And we had the meetings. I was not there, but I knew that our strong team was there. Mr. Morris is one that, and my chairman believes in being there for the consumers.
Yeah.
And so what we are doing is that we're not just going to sit back and let them just say, consumers come to us first with their complaints. We are now going to make it where we have meetings where the general public can now become a part of those. We're going to have seminars. We're going to have workshops that they're going to be a part with us. We're going to partner with them.
Excellent. All right, so I'm just playing devil's advocate here. So the banks, they're going to say, and I'm sure they're saying that the cost of doing business in the cost is outrageous, and there's electricity, labor, even everything, and somebody has to pay for it, and this is what we have to do if we're going to maintain a presence here. What do you say to that?
Well, I will say that they do have a point. However, from my examinations of their year-ending performances, they're making money. And not only are they making money, they're making millions. And so what I would be saying to them, please share some of that millions in profit that you're making with the consumers. So, everyone is in business for their bottom line. And so, even if they were to use what you have just stated, they're still making money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tate?
So I have a question. I guess I can also play devil's advocate, but we know that Canadian banks make up a significant contributions to the banking sector. But money, 1 second. Have you all done a comparison to what Canadian banks can get away with in Canada in comparison to what they get away with in the Bahamas?
Well, we are looking at that. In fact, there is a bit of inconsistency as relate to what some of the charges and fees are, but compared to the Bahamas and the Caribbean. However, our work has just begun, and it is my hope that when we are through with this work, because we're going to hire the research to be able to properly inform our consumers. So there'll be no doubt as to what it is. I am saying to the Bahamian people, Consumer Protection Commission, we got your back, and we're going to try to find out the extent to which we may be able to help you. But from the face of it, what we've seen, we have every reason to believe that the Bahamian consumers are getting the royal.
Wow. Okay. Want to hear from you, our listeners, who are consumers, and I'm sure they have to deal with the banks. So we're in an interesting position here because the banks are some of our greatest, wonderful sponsors. So let's not get too specific, but just some general discussions about challenges that you have. And we can see what the Consumer Protection Commission can say about that. 323-6232. 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. We're speaking with Deputy Chairman of the Consumer Protection Commission, Tyrone Rock Morris, and Managing Director, Michelle Carroll. So where do things stand with that policy about the penalties for early repayment of the mortgage? I mean, is that something that people are going to be, the banks have said they're going to look into or re-examine? Where do we leave things after that meeting?
Well, first let me state that I spoke a couple times about the Bahamian people getting the royal. I am not speaking to any bank. It's just a term. Yeah. So I want to make sure.
I am not familiar with that term, but I but that is interesting. That is.
Okay, thanks, Dwight.
Okay.
Like I stated previously, a little earlier, that this aggravating situation has been with us, at least at this level, for because of the upswing in the complaints. We have decided to take another look at it. And so we've just begun. Like I said, it was last week, I think Monday or Tuesday, that we met with Central Bank. And let me say this. The young lady who is the ombudsman, Ms. Hyla Higgs, is a fantastic young lady. You know, she made me feel really good. She really made me feel really good from the enthusiasm that she's put forward and how she spoke about the work that she hoped to have done. And so she has asked us to say to the Bahamian people that her office can be reached at telephone number 3022759. And so she, while she built the framework, she wants to hear from the Bahamian public to talk about the problems that they're having, with a view to see how it can be addressed, because, you know.
All right, let's take some calls really quickly. We've got a lot of text messages here. Caller, good morning. We don't have to get too specific, but good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How are you doing?
Doing well.
Excellent topic, Dwight. Excellent topic. You see, I must be born before my time. You see, if I had any power, I would have fired the governor of the central bank to let these foreign banks know got time to play. You see, because he ain't doing nothing. Dwight, I have to point on it. I don't borrow money from banks. I try not to borrow money from banks. I rather deal with the only people or whatever, or save my money for the same reason. And they can't do these things in their country of origin. Here it is. See, and then if our governments were serious, governments now were serious. People like the Bath and Adrian and Flowers, get them licenses open banks then. And what's the difference? I deal with a certain bank. I got a couple accounts there. It's the reason why I deal with certain banks, because when certain clients I deal with these banks. Here it is. A certain bank, you can't take up no less than $50. That's wrong. That's wrong. Sometimes I only need $20 to gas some car or buy some beds. And that's stealing by the pen.
Right.
See, our country.
I mean, that they did go back on that. They did go back on that after pressure. The commission got to them
That's
too.
wrong, right?
Yeah.
It's our country. It's our country. And see, we need to start firing some people in civil service who mandated to protect us, right? To protect us to our land. Let me tell you something, right? I'm way older than you are. And let me tell you something. I wake up to all people, international people. I watch them ambassadors cry when they had to leave this country, you know. I talk and cry, and I still friendly with some of them. Maybe people be not problematic people, you know. And all these problems in this country, we can fix these things if we let the people do their job. Don't do it. See, Dwight, I don't run hard, Dwight, but you're all guys in civil service. I'm
Thank
taking my
you.
call.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I just want to say too, Dwight, that the Clearing Banks Association, we're hoping to meet with them also. That they're the body of the banks,
Right.
And if we could get answers from them also, we could bring this thing together with central bank. While central bank still hands are tied a certain way, the clearing banks should be able
so they
to
weren't
come.
in the meeting with the central bank last week?
No,
okay.
no.
So soon,
It was just consumer protection. And so one of the things we're going to do immediately is bring the Clearing Bank together. And we want discussion very quickly. And like Mr. Morris said, I reach back, that bring this together very quickly. And so I'm on it.
Okay. All right.
I'm on it.
Yeah, that should be a very interesting meeting.
Yeah.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, is that me?
Yes, you're on.
Yeah, just a couple of things I want to note. I think what the guys are doing is a noble thing, but I think they're putting the horse before the cart. When I say that, I think you have to know what's being done in comparison to Canada and the other Caribbean countries as it relates to these Canadian banks. Because like he said, certain things they can get away with, certain things they cannot get away with. But I think you need to have that in hand first if you're going to have a fighting chance to do a complete and comprehensive comparison. Second of all, I really believe that it's really about educating the customer. Because, yes, banks do charge fees for writing a loan and what have you, but all those fees are negotiable.
Yes.
The problem is customers don't realize that. If you go in the bank and the bank tells you, okay, your mortgage for $100,000 is, the fee for writing it is $1,000, simply tell them, look, no, that has to be negotiable. They want the loan just as bad as you want the loan. They want to give you that loan, mind you. But you have to put yourself in a position where you have the knowledge to know what to do. And a lot of times, the lender may not be able to make that call, but the lender has somebody on the next line who can actually make that call at a moment's notice, whether that fee is $1,000 or whether that fee is $500. So it's about educating the customer, because what you have to realize, banking is pure competition. And in a competitive market, the consumer actually has the upper hand and not necessarily the industry or the particular bank that they're dealing with. Thanks a lot.
Very good question. Very good question.
Yeah, and they really are willing to negotiate a lot.
Yes.
You do find that. So education, and that is what you're for.
Well, actually, that was part of our discussion last week with Central Bank, and there is an agreement that education between all of the parties, really, we have not been doing our best job in getting our citizens, our consumers to understand what is happening in the banks. And the bank, even though they speak to providing information, the information that I learned over the past week, I spent hours doing the research. Because, I'm not one of the smartest fellow with computers and stuff, right? But, where is my grandma going to be able to go and find these various stuff? And so we need to have the discussion and come up with a formula that we can better educate and inform our consumers, right? And we have to do it together. And when the Consumer Protection Commission is there, we are committed to developing the means whereby the Bahamian consumers get an appreciation of what is happening in the banks, and that thereby they're able to make some better choices as it relates to negotiating and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take another call and then we'll take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Dwight Strachan.
Hi, good morning.
I hope you're doing well.
I'm trying.
I see you have my good friend there, Ross Morris.
Yes. Michelle Carroll as well.
Based on what he has been saying, the banks have made the Bahamian people slaves. That is contrary to the Constitution, to the supreme law of the land. And I don't think we should hold out whichever banks are doing it. We should name them publicly. it would appear to me, based on what I've heard Brother Morris and others are saying, that the bank has been of no value to the average consumer. In other words, we seem to have a situation where foreign banks in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas are able to do and act as they please. Brother Morris said they're making millions and millions of dollars in profit. So you're actually enslaving the Bahamian people. It is wickedness. It is utter wickedness and deceit, man.
Okay.
It is the duty of the government of the Bahamas to protect the Bahamian people. Obviously, that's not happening, based on what I've heard. And the central bank, of course, you're supposed to be the supervisor regulatory group. Same thing with IRCA. IRCA is supposed to be the regulatory for the
utilities.
You got to call them and tell them something happened, and they know it's happening. And by the time you get to tell them, the damage has already been done. So we seem not to be waiting for the protection. And I appreciate consumer protection. You got to give that number out so I could call them. Because the thing is that we need consumer protection.
Yeah.
And the way how they put information out, you expect a man in Baintown with 5 boys to fully understand what they say about going on for people. They could hardly buy bread. They could hardly pay rent in these situations. The average consumer is under enormous pressure, and we have the bank enslaving the people. That is highway robbery and slavery. That's contrary to the Constitution, and the government of Bahamas and the central bank ought to be doing something about it. I appreciate what Consumer Protection is doing, but please give the number out to Consumer Protection.
Yeah, definitely. We will do that. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, so he brings up some interesting points. So is this possible that this could be split, as in the central bank be responsible for regulating, but Consumer Protection handle the consumer complaints? Is that something, and maybe with IRCA as well, so that they can deal with the technical aspects, but you all deal with consumer issues?
Well, I am not sure how to address that, Dwight. As I stated, they have brought on a ombudsman, which I think is a fantastic thing to do, and so a proper look or review of what the central bank does will have to be done to determine whether or not the point that you made is viable. I on the face of it, it may not be necessary, because if we have operating that office to look at complaints, not only would they be looking at complaints, they're going to be putting together the necessary framework, the type of legislation to, in that regard. So it's going to call for quite a bit of involvement and meetings and interaction between the various stakeholders, including consumer protection. And
yeah,
so,
but then you what's important to me as a consumer, the $20 that the bank unfairly charged me. I mean, will the central bank really care in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah.
They try to make sure the country's got a stable currency. Why would they care about $20 I lost to the bank?
yeah, well, maybe with Ms. Hyla Higgs in place, that may make it a difference. But the central bank may be more interested in ensuring that the know your customer situation is in place, and a number of other areas that can get us in problem internationally.
Yeah.
And so they may have a bigger focus on that.
Absolutely.
But like I said earlier, the persons at Central Bank, what they expressed to us was that they are concerned with transparency, right? And so, more so, right? And where there are mistakes, right? Where they are required to display and it's not being displayed adequately, they seem to be more interested in those kind of stuff. But I feel real good with the Ombudsman's office, and she has committed to working with the CPC, and so in all fairness to them, they ought to be given a chance.
Okay.
I will be critical of them, but I'm still prepared to give
Yeah.
them a chance for us to work together.
All right. Hopefully, they will staff it with more than one person.
Yeah, well, they will have to.
With all, anyway. Okay, so all Team Bahamas and everything.
Recording in progress.
Oh dear, what's that? All right, all Team Bahamas and everything, but we're not suggesting that it's only the foreign banks that have issues, right?
No, sir.
No,
No.
sir.
Right. Okay.
All.
It's all.
As from my work, all. Commercial banks.
Yeah.
Payments and others.
Okay.
And that's why, Dwight, I said earlier, it's important to bring all to the table. Let's have
Yeah.
this discussion. We I mean, we're a new board, like I always say, we're a new board. We have a new team in place. We've been mandated by our minister and challenged to go out there and really work for the consumers. In meeting with Minister Halkidas, he wants us to go out there and really make a difference. And we're already on the ball. We're working hard. And we're going to make the difference. You're going to see consumer protection on a different level.
Excellent.
And persons should be able to come to us for everything. We like to say that no question or no complaint is stupid. Whatever you feel, we're here for you. And that's what we want the Bahamian public to know.
Okay.
And so a new team with passion.
During the break, I'll tell you what a utility company did to me. We'll talk about that off here. Callers, we'll get to you in a second. It's terrible. We'll get to you in a second, but we got this text message here. Someone says, I recently paid off my mortgage, and per my agreement that I signed from inception of the loan, I had to pay 6 months of interest in order to pay off my loan.
Yep.
So some of them do tell you, but you're saying that some people are finding out late
At the
after
time.
the fact.
Yes, at the time.
They did not know.
At
Wow.
the time they walk into the bank. Yes.
Okay.
Whose fault is that? I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But fault or not, we still think it's a stab. Why? Why? Let's have the discussion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. Morning, guest. How you doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
Morning.
Quick question. And let me make it clear. I have not experienced this with my personal bank, which is a local bank, but I've been hearing other people make this complaint that their bank of business is charging them, for them, the consumer, to put money in the bank.
Yes.
Now, how in heaven's name can any commercial bank be allowed anywhere, but particularly in the Bahamas, to charge the consumer for the consumer to put the consumer's money in their bank?
And when it's time to take it off, it's going to cost you again.
The same thing. That needs to be stopped. Because to me, again, based on our Constitution, the preamble of our Constitution, things like this ought not to be allowed to be happening in the country. So can you please let the consumer know what you folks are doing at the CPC to be able to stop banks from charging the consumer for the consumer to put the consumer's money in the bank?
So what are they calling that? A deposit fee? That's
We have that, right? We are going to discuss those. We got some complaints in regards to that, and that is on our agenda for the
Wow.
clearing banks. We've gotten that.
That's crazy. Tate, were you saying something?
Yeah, I was going to ask a question. I think I was going to suggest something. But I see the interconnectivity of different sectors. And I think I was going to ask whether does the commission produce policy positions or policy papers to basically talk about different issues and how they're going to deal with it. That's the question I wanted to ask.
I missed that.
Yep. Repeat that one more time for us, Tate. Say that one more time.
Yeah, I was basically asking, does the commission produce policy papers or policy positions that talk about different issues and how they're going to deal with those issues?
Yeah. Okay. They're looking into, but you're about to do that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So yes. So that's coming.
Yes,
That's
we
coming.
haven't in the past. Hands were tied with many things, but we are looking at those things.
I'll say this. This is our second month.
Yes.
Consumer Protection Commission will be making themselves available on a monthly basis. All right, so you have the opportunity to monitor what we say to you and ensure that we're reporting to you what we say in our previous shows to you. And so you will have the ability to say if we're not doing what we promised to you, you'll have that ability. But our commitment is to ensure that when we meet every month that we are able to report on the progress that we are making on behalf of our
The Bahamian
consumers.
people.
All right. Running out of time, but this texter says here, my small business does about 4 transfers a month and 2 deposits, and we're charged $160 in fees per month. Wow. Okay, let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Dwight Sparky here.
Hi, good morning, Sparky.
You know, Dwight, they talk with double tongues around here, you know. Dwight, I had an experience the other day with my mortgage where I owe a small balance on my mortgage with one bank. My son wanted to go off to school. So I was trying to pay off the mortgage with one bank and get a loan at the bank where he was. And I was putting up my house as mortgage and everything. They made me do what you call the appraisal. I did the appraisal, cost me over $500. I had to pay a voice to the appraisal. I put everything in there. I waited almost 6 months for an answer to them. I couldn't get an answer, couldn't find the service agent anymore. I went back only to find out that they had let her go and they couldn't find my appraisal. I said, well, what about the loan I was trying to get? Oh, that has been refused. I said, what you mean it's been refused? Oh, they said, the appraisal, you were sitting here too long. The appraisal was outdated. You need to do another appraisal. So I went and I paid the same guy to do the same appraisal all over again, sent that in, waited another few months, then they told me the loan was refused. I had to play the appraisal twice for them to tell me the loan was refused. I just wanted to give my son some money to go off to school and get myself a little second-hand car or something. So everything was refused. I ended up paying 2 appraisals to the same guy for refusal from the bank, and they took nearly a year to answer me.
It's unfortunate.
And the lawyers, most of these lawyers, they don't want nothing to change because they're waiting for you and they're waiting for the bank. That's how they make their money. They're waiting for the banks too. They don't want nothing to change around here because the lawyers making money, the banks making money, and the consumers, us little people over the hill, we suffering, we paying everything. Plus the lady had asked me, she said, I need to open up a debit bank account card. So I said, what I need to open it up with? She said, you got to open up at least $20 to $40. I opened that up. The next one I went back there, $20 was going off it. I said, well, I didn't even come back to touch the $40. Oh, well, we charge banking fees. So all they're doing is taking our money. And no government, no lawyers, nobody trying to stop it because all of them making the money. You know what's going on? We getting robbed left, right, and center. Have a good day.
Oh, boy, Sparky. I hope you aren't with that bank any longer, but oh, good Lord. Wow. That's rough.
Dwight, I know we're running out of time. I don't know if you're going to take another.
You want to?
I just want to.
Yeah, because you have some things to do.
Yes.
Let's take this one really quickly. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Dwight. And yes, I rise on a point of correction. You said that the banks are dispensing $20. That is not so for Royal Bank. They're still not dispensing.
Not all their ATMs, but they have they have ones in the banks that are dedicated. Apparently, not the ones at the gas stations or.
Well, they need to correct that because we don't go into the bank. Most of the banks are closed, and the one at the hospital is still not dispensing $20.
Yeah, it's not everyone. Not everyone. You have to look out for the ones, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. So I don't know if there's something you can do about that to get them to make that more widespread.
Again,
yeah, when you talk to them.
We'll talk to them on that. Okay.
All right, so people want to know, how do they reach you? At least if they talk to you, maybe you can talk to the central bank and the ombudsman, but what do people need to do to reach the Consumer Protection Commission?
Yeah, well, Dwight, like I said earlier, we are relaunching and rebranding, and we want the consumers to reach out to us so that, as Mr. Morris said, every month we're here, we go, whatever the consumers call into us, we want to come back next show and say, well, this is what happened, this is what, and that's what we want to educate, inform all of our consumers that we are working and we have followed up on the complaints that you gave. You can reach us. And one of the things I want to say too that we are doing, not just in Nassau, we have started our Family Island visit. Next week, Friday, we'll be in Abaco. to hear the complaints and concerns from consumers.
They still have banks on the Family Islands?
Yes, we do. But not just banking, but other issues consumers have. We have a lot of Family Island consumers who call into us, you know.
Sure.
And so they file lodge their complaints online. You can reach us, and we'll be in Abaco. Looking forward to seeing all the persons to come down to meet us in Abaco next week, Thursday and Friday. And that is the beginning of our Family Island tours.
Okay.
And you can reach us at Consumer Protection Commission, 393-7795, 6 or 7. You can email us at info@cpcbahamas.gov.bs or complaints@cpcbahamas.gov.bs. And call us. Our Facebook page is very active. I noticed that last night we had about 10 complaints there.
Wow.
And we're on them. And persons are just, you know, and even not only in the Bahamas, Dwight, we have customers calling us from abroad, writing on our pages for concerns in regards to complaints. And so we're here for all consumers around the world.
Complaining about places here?
Here in the Bahamas.
Oh, dear.
Especially cruise ship visitors.
Oh, my goodness.
Persons make purchases, you know, and so we're having complaints with that again. Stores downtown, you know, and so we had issues in the past.
Yeah.
We're again having those. And so we've met with those stores too. We intend to do that again. But reach out to consumer. We're here for you. Now, Dwight, we've decided that since we want this good partnership with consumers and them be able to, you know, reach us out to us more and make us feel that we're here for them, we want to give out something today. Okay. We want to give out a voucher, a gas voucher. I think we only have time for one. We want somebody to call in and give us the name of the 3 chairmen over the years, just 3, that headed Consumer Protection Commission. 3 chairmen, and we give you a gas voucher.
$25?
Okay.
I think it's more than that.
Yeah?
Yes, it is.
Okay, all right. Wait, any amount these
that
days
can't
is-
buy you right. 25 can't buy you too much.
No, but you know something. Listen here.
No, it's not 25.
But
it's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, let's do this. 323-6232. If you know the answer. 323-6232. The 3 chairmen for the CPC over these years that they've been in existence. If you know the answer, call us right now, and you could win this gas voucher.
Yes.
All right. This is great stuff.
And we also want the consumers to know that we are going to be in the community. With that, we are looking to move where we are at Charlotte House. In another month or so, we are going to be in the heart of where consumers could reach us.
Okay. So something.
So we're
more
working
accessible.
on that. Yes, we're working very hard.
It's still
at
only
consumer.
14 people.
We only have one person.
How many?
We have a small staff,
Yeah.
but we are expanding.
Okay, because you need a lot more.
As
You
you
need a lot
heard
more
from
help.
our good minister, that he is working with us and to ensure that consumer protection is on where he would want it to be.
Okay, excellent.
Yes.
Do you think this caller has the answer? We're running out of time. But caller, do you have the answer by any chance as we wrap things up?
No, Dwight. But let me just say something,
got it.
Dwight, and maybe you could come back.
20
on,
seconds. Mhm.
Yes, you could come back on this. We have solutions to these problems in the DARE bill. You have the post office. You have DeFi. You have the sand dollar. And you have a number of things that can address these certain issues. The problem is that because we are still a consumer-based environment, we don't utilize technology as necessary. And we could advocate for the more opening of the post office bank. We could advocate for DeFi. We could advocate for the use of sand dollar. These things would actually eliminate the need for going into banks. And maybe I'll call back into another show and take us through a few of those steps.
Right. I don't know. I think it only solved a few problems there, but yeah, okay. But thanks for that. We'll have to let that. We'll see if we can get answers as we
Yes.
continue throughout the day. But thank you both so much for being here, Michelle Carroll and Rockmore. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you again next
Pleasure's
month.
ours.
Consumer Voice right
thank
here
you,
on
thank
Morning
you.
Blend Business. Tate Adderley, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Really appreciate
No
you.
problem.
And,
Thank you for having me, Dwight.
It's been a pleasure. And stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
Can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood. We now lodging and shopping.